Chapter 2. Do not change the recipe. Follow it exactly. Quote, in the universe, there is a core from which we can obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. End quote. Taken from Nikola Tesla. In this chapter, I will elaborate on the importance of each step, practicing these steps consistently, and incorporating them into your daily life is essential. This recipe also works so that you learn to keep and honor it once you have manifested the relationship you desire. It's essential to recognize that classical physics governs the universe, and entropy plays a significant role in this process. Entropy, as a fundamental law, is particularly relevant here. Entropy teaches us that all atomic systems always move towards a state of maximum entropy. In simple terms, all atomic structures gradually lose most of their energy, ultimately breaking their entire composition down into smaller particles. To the naked eye, the effects of entropy appear as erosion and disorder. This phenomenon can be observed in aging and decomposition. Nature hates idleness. If your phone is fully charged and left to sit long enough without use, it will lose its charge eventually. If you buy a large enough pack of batteries, they will lose most of their charge if they sit long enough without use. I know because this happened to me. I bought a large pack of about 20 batteries for my kids' gaming console controllers. We didn't get to use many of them, and I found that many of the batteries that were not rotated lost all their charge once I tried to use them. I thought I had been scammed. I wondered why all these unused batteries were dead. Then I remembered my own lessons on entropy. It really drove the point home. Consider a pond of water that is stagnant and has no outlet. Over time, it will inevitably become toxic. This is why pools must be regularly serviced and maintained with chemicals and cleaning products. Consider reading Hack the Law of Attraction, the Quantum Code to the Mastermind System. In this book, I discuss the relevance of classical physics to your ability to create. Step number 1 on the recipe. Know that you don't know what you don't know. Do not rely on your own understanding. Take notice of God, universe, infinite intelligence in all your ways, and God will make your path straight. This step is an essential ingredient. I say this because most people who attempt to use the law of attraction see little to no results. Or if they get results, their mindset is so negative that they fail to keep what they wanted so badly and end up losing it anyway. It is like people who win the lottery. Most of the time, they end up just as broke after a short period. This scenario happens because people who successfully create prosperity through business and keep it are wealthy because they have invested in the wisdom and knowledge that allows them to do so. The health industry has made billions. This phenomenon is true because corporations understand people fall for the perception of quick fix pills, just like people who desire a quick fix by hoping to win the lottery. It's easy to sell them on a false solution, and like a person with an addiction, they go back for the next fix even though they know the odds are immensely against them. Moreover, corporations have realized that there's always a customer base for any product or service. This customer base will consistently seek more, regardless of the risks involved. If most people were committed to their physical fitness and diet, they would know to avoid fast food joints and junk foods. These establishments are widely recognized for harming people's health, so one might wonder why they haven't gone bankrupt by now. Yet, they continue to thrive. The challenge is that most people who serve as the customer base for these less than healthy products know they are not good for them, but keep returning because they don't care. Their customer base will not prioritize even a basic exercise routine, nor will they take the time to learn how to prepare healthy, nutritious home-cooked meals. It is because most people think it is too much work and too inconvenient. Successful people are always too busy doing what others think is inconvenient. Successful people are always too busy doing what others are too good to do. And successful people are always too busy doing what other people are still talking about. The same can be said for compulsive gamblers. They often realize that if they go to school, read the right books, listen to knowledgeable individuals, take appropriate courses, and seek guidance from mentors, the money they typically waste on gambling could instead be invested in these resources. Doing so could help them eventually achieve the prosperity and wealth they desire. This is why step number 1 in the process is so relevant to your ability to create a mind-blowing loving relationship. I already had a conversation with someone online about this, and their response was, quote, "If it takes that much work, I'd rather stay single," end quote. How sad. People will always pay more money for the cure than for the prevention. These protocols will prevent you from experiencing critical failure. I explained to them that, factually, without these processes, relationships would be way more work than he thought. In reality, people are giving themselves unending grief and pain, in essence, working their emotions to exhaustion from failing to do the right things long enough and consistently. So what do I mean by taking notice of God or the universe in all your ways? The principle is found in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. It encourages readers to trust God and consider God's wisdom in everything they do. I like Nikola Tesla's updated definition. He said, quote, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we can obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration." End quote. Yes, the core of infinite intelligence is at your disposal, and you can access it through intention and prayer. It is essential that you use this step so that you may download or receive via transmitted frequencies. You will receive the right coded messages through various means. The universe may download a new awareness or coded thought directly into your mind. It may direct you physically to a post, vlog, or book. You might listen to the right words from a podcast or online influencer. The proper knowledge and wisdom will be directed to you in many ways as you intend to receive with humility the instruction required to progress forward. Do not fall for the trap that you know better. This attitude will delay your process. Always ask for knowledge and wisdom when you are unsure how to proceed. This process will wire your mind to receive a download of instructions consistently and perceive notions that will clarify and, in essence, make your path straight. These processes will also create hyper-awareness in your mind, allowing you to receive the intended messages as expected. If you deviate, you will experience confusion and frustration. When you find yourself frustrated and confused, know that it is a sure sign that you are not paying attention to clear instructions. To clarify, this step gives you the mental awareness that you don't know what you don't know and are not that smart. The universe can anticipate and calculate the best outcome in an instant. God is all-knowing, and infinite intelligence can make the best decisions. Use the mind of God and ignore your limited ability. This process teaches you to harness the computing capacity of the quantum computer of the universe. This power is the same computing capacity that brought about the intelligently designed physical universe with everything in it. Can you grasp your mind around that? Step number 2 on the recipe. Download knowledge from the field of infinite intelligence. Call out in prayer for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to honor the relationship you desire, for it will be a gift from God. Search for this knowledge and wisdom as if it were gold, and you will know the very understanding of God and how to attain and keep the relationship of your heart's desire. Consider this context of Proverbs by the MSG version of Proverbs chapter 2, verses 1 through 8. Quote, "Good friend, take to heart what I'm telling you. Collect my counsels and guard them with your life. Tune your ears to the word of wisdom. Set your heart on a life of understanding." That's right, if you make insight your priority and won't take no for an answer, search for it like a prospector panning for gold, like an adventurer on a treasure hunt. Believe me, before you know it, fear of God will be yours. You'll have come upon the knowledge of God. And here's why. God gives out wisdom free, in plain spoken, in knowledge and understanding. End quote. It is so imperative you develop this awareness deeply. Make your heart's priority to acquire a heart of wisdom and understanding. The love of knowledge and understanding is crucial to your ability to create a mind-blowing, loving, and peaceful relationship. A love for acquiring wisdom is vital to achieving true long-lasting success. Yes, these principles apply to all of the desires of your heart. And the scripture is clear. You must be willing to sacrifice time, energy, and resources to acquire the wisdom that will help you get and keep the relationship you want. The illustration is right on point. Someone prospecting for gold will invest money and resources in equipment and workers. How much effort would you put in if you knew the exact location of a hidden treasure? Ironically, most people give up even before they start if they falsely perceive it is too much work. I am dead serious. Jumping from relationship to relationship and wasting energy through trial and error is a lot more work than these processes. Would it not be better to acquire the integrated codes of wisdom from the universal field of infinite intelligence? You will curve your learning curve faster than anything with this protocol. And isn't time more valuable than money? What about your peace of mind? Is it not better to anticipate before you sacrifice your peace of mind by making decisions without this infinite source of knowledge? Guess what, though? I did that work, and my life with my wife is living proof of it. I have already documented most of this knowledge in 3 books. Book number 1, Hack the Law of Attraction, the Quantum Code to the Mastermind System. This one is good for those who feel the law of attraction has not worked for them or feel it is working against them. Book number 2, Blueprint for Immortality, the Quantum Code for Life Secrets to Success. This book is suitable for those experiencing massive doubt about their ability to use the law of attraction. It also teaches you how to connect to the field of infinite intelligence to download answers, strength, and inspiration. Book number 3, Life is a Game, the Quantum Code for Life's Principles for Success. This one is good at teaching you the principles of creation and how they relate to reality. It clarifies why life is perfectly designed to be what it is, with all its seeming problems, challenges, and evils. It teaches you how your soul and life experiences are screaming at you to become the best version of yourself. It teaches you to quantify the best route for your life from the field of superposition as God sees you, not as you see yourself. The universe desires to have experiences through you, and these experiences are better than you can ever imagine. Let the universe decide what is best. Yes, step number 1 requires that you accept that we are not that smart. We must cultivate a certain humility to be able to accept and receive coded data from the universe. This force guided me to document what I was being given. These books already have the codes you will receive anyway. See, it's already working. You wanted to know what it takes to change your relationship situation, and here you are reading this book. You are being given exactly what you need now to program your mind so that you can create that relationship you now desire. Once you begin to apply this knowledge, you will notice how the universe will highlight specific thoughts, words, images, experiences, and people to bring the messages you need. You will receive everything you need at the perfect time. Step 3 and 4 on the recipe. Persist and do not give up on praying. Quote, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open for you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. To him who knocks it will be open. Or who is there among you who, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, who will give him a serpent? If you then, being imperfect, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in the heaven give good things to those who ask him? Taken from Matthew chapter 7, 7 through 11. You will make this step a breeze once you masterfully make it a habit to pray or transmit the frequency to magnetize and receive knowledge. The principle is to persist and not give up until you literally receive what you have asked for. In this instance, you must clearly define precisely what that relationship looks like to you right now. Do you know how often I've had to explain myself to people struggling with the relationships about this? Cement this in your mind now, because how you ask and what you ask for will determine your future experience. It is my observation that people's frustrations and irritations in relationships, or lack thereof, are because they don't know what they want and are not clear about what they are asking for. If you find that your experience has been vague and you are frustrated with the universe, it is because you have not been clear and your requests have been vague. I promise you it is that simple. Consider the following illustration. Asking is like the following menu. Today's menu, types of relationships. You can have a one-night date, one-night stand, 10-day situationship, 3-month romantic relationship, 2-year romantic relationship, 5-year romantic relationship. Generally, people define their desired relationship vaguely, like the first part of this menu, but then the relationship drops or loses its spark. It is because our relationship's pillars fall apart when you don't have clarity beyond romance and are weak in your long-term awareness. What most don't understand is that you can define it by asking the universe what's on special. It will say, would you like to commit to a super meaningful marriage, long-lasting, till old age, endless romance, loving, kind, joyful, peaceful, best husband or best wife or best partner, with the side of excitement, exhilaration, great sex, happy interactions, complementing characteristics, loyalty, honorable, playful, lots of kids, similar interests, intelligent, and hardworking? Do you get the picture? I did this. I asked for someone I could marry and have a long-lasting, happy, enduring, meaningful relationship. I also asked that she be fit, blonde and blue-eyed. I asked to make sure I was physically attracted to her. I asked for complementary skills and strengths to my weaknesses and to deliver promptly. Does this make sense? Can you see the importance of being as detailed and precise as possible? I pray this gives you perspective. If not, then consider step 4 in the process. It may sound like steps 3 and 4 are the same, but trust me, they are not. This is because people generally don't understand what perseverance means and the context in which you can persevere. If people did, most will have what they desire more often. In step 4, I ask you to read the parables in the New Testament of the widow asking the judge for justice and the man asking for bread from his friend. They are lessons on perseverance when asking or praying to infinite intelligence for what you desire. These stories and mental images bring life to the concept of perseverance. It gives you nuances that you may not have grasped before. The parable of the man who asked his friend for bread goes like this. Quote, "He said to them, 'Which of you, if you go to a friend at midnight and tell him, "Friend, lend me 3 loaves of bread, for a friend of mine has come to me from a journey, and I have nothing to set before him." And he from within will answer and say, "Don't bother me. The door is now shut and my children are with me in bed. I can't get up and give it to you." I tell you, although he will not rise and give it to him because he is his friend, yet because of his persistence, he will get up and give him as much as he needs. End quote. Taken from Luke chapter 11, verses 5 through 8. Let's examine the context. Here's what is being pointed out to you through the story. All it takes is perseverance in asking, regardless of what negative answers you may perceive at first. I know the manifesting community insists on telling you that you need a myriad of mental and emotional conditions to be in perfect alignment with what you want. But that is not necessarily true. I know it may sound different, but we can see that in this context, the friend is anxious, stressed, worried, and possibly frustrated. There was no emotional or mental preparation. He only persisted in asking for what he wanted. Notice that he also said he went to his friend's house in the middle of the night. His friend was possibly asleep, tired, and didn't want to get up and give him bread. At that time, making bread was a labor-intensive process. Unlike the easy access we have today to bake bread in large quantities, the bread-making process back then was much more time-consuming and expensive. Therefore, his friend may have been asking for more than what we now perceive as a simple loaf of bread. Despite the unfavorable circumstances that suggested his friend would likely refuse, he was not shy and asked for it anyway. Can you see the big picture? Let's consider the widow's story. Quote, "He also spoke a parable to them that they must always pray and not give up, saying, 'There was a judge in a certain city who didn't fear God and didn't respect men. A widow in that city often came to him, saying, "Defend me from my adversary." He wouldn't for a while, but afterward he said to himself, "Though I neither fear God nor respect men, yet because this widow bothers me, I will defend her, or else she will wear me out by her continual coming." End quote. Taken from Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. This story gives you a similar understanding of your attitude about asking for what you are aching for. I know that the manifestation communities are quick to tell you that you must feel good and be all happy and dandy about life before asking the universe. To a certain extent, it is true, but it denies an absolute reality in life. Your desires only exist because you have experienced a contextual field of experience where you are now living life in a way you don't want to. Your desires can only be experienced progressively and contextually from a place where you don't have what you want. Your desires exist because the possibility and experience of their lack exists first. Yes, the yin and the yang are factual. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And principles of relativity are immutable in this process. Also, in the absence of the contextual field of what you don't desire to experience, your desires and contextual space where you exist as having what you want cannot exist either. This is worth reading again. Listen carefully. Also, in the absence of the contextual field of what you don't desire to experience, your desires and contextual space where you exist as having what you want cannot exist either. The widow is in pain, and she's painfully suffering a massive injustice. Her insufferable circumstance forced her to beg the unrighteous judge for what she desired. She annoyed and irritated this judge so badly with her persistence that he had no choice but to follow up on her demand because he didn't want to deal with her anymore. So what is the lesson? Persist, persist, and persist in transmitting your prayer until you get it. Step number 5 in the process: increase your faith. Quote, have faith in God, for most certainly I tell you, whoever may tell this mountain, be taken up and cast into the sea, and doesn't doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says is happening, he shall have whatever he says. Therefore I tell you all things, whatever you pray and ask for, believe that you have received them, and you shall have them. End quote. Taken from Mark chapter 11, verses 22 through 24. Quote, with faith the size of a mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you. End quote. Taken from Matthew 17, verse 20. Understand that all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed, and that with faith, nothing is impossible. If you lack enough faith in following steps 1 through 4, then use steps 1 through 4 to ask for enough faith and the trust to ask for what you desire, so that you may freely use steps 1 through 4 to ask for what you desire. This may sound redundant, but I promise you this step is relevant. It is because, in a real sense, these steps are mental work. You will project so much energy from your mind that it will feel like you are exhausting yourself. And I know what you may be thinking. But Julian, all these manifesting law of attraction gurus told me that unless it feels easy and effortlessly, then I am doing it wrong and I won't receive my manifestation and blah 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 blah. Let me be straight with you. Yes, there is a place for the effortless process of manifesting, but it only happens after you have rolled that boulder up to the top of the hill, when you finally can push it downhill. The universe has to create a story and the contextual field in which you are progressively getting there. And because you are reading this book, in this exact sentence here, know that it is okay to be frustrated, annoyed, and irritated, which is why you are reading this book. You probably have exhausted many options and feel like you are in a confusing mess. You want the relationship now and don't know how to get it. You are going through a process right now. Embrace it. I promise you, it is worth it. I call this the alchemy of the universe. In an instant, the universe calculates the shortest distance between the now and the future you, which has what you desire. The universal GPS will then lead you through steps or milestones. These experiences teach you lessons and refine your character and mindset. It is like a universal GPS. Sometimes the road will be smooth, and at times it will be a bumpy ride. You may get lost, but the universal algorithm will always reroute you. You may have to stop for gas or rent a hotel room and rest. You may get a flat tire or deal with a mechanical challenge. Time, energy, and resources will help you reach your destination. The process works the same. I was counseling a lady whom we will call Sugar. She was frustrated and irritated. She felt hopeless and apprehensive about being older and that she might never find someone. She was concerned about having to go through more relationship learning experiences. Most of those lessons can be learned much earlier. You can't even integrate them now. This is why the steps are there to speed up the process. Also, in this book, I will share, word for word, some of the conversations I had on social media where I answer questions that tend to repeat because of the similar context that comes up. It was fascinating because I was able to refine my answer to the same question. I copy and pasted the final answer onto my notes application so that when the same question came up again, all I had to do was copy and paste the answer. It made it easy to answer because different people would ask the same question in similar contexts. It got so repetitive that some people in the post would think I was a bot, account, or using AI. The answers became so comprehensive that they couldn't usually add more follow-up questions. I narrowed down this process into a few short answers. The result of this process is this book you are now reading. I decided to write this book about 2 weeks ago, today being May 7th, 2025. But I realize now that it took my whole life's experience and process for this book to be finally written. And now all that information has been condensed down to the size of a book. You see, God has already anticipated the answers to your prayers. The universe knew you would ask for this knowledge and wisdom. God answers before you ask. Therefore, you will receive and experience that relationship you so desire. You can transform your life and live the life you asked for. And now you have an expert's manual. And I say that with humility since my life had to become an outstanding example of what that success looks like. All you have to do is apply yourself to these principles and guidelines, and I know you will see magic happen in your life.